Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is Politics Today, reaching you live from Benin City, Edo State, South Nigeria, and we're broadcasting globally. Welcome to today's edition. It's all about what is happening politically and, of course, as it affects you and I. Want to take a look into the mid-term, yes, of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. 2 years and counting. 2 years we're trying to, assess, analyze the achievements so far of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Well, some have good news, others, the news is not so cheery. Why, for some, they're just taking it at face value. After all, what we see is what we get, what we voted for is what we get, or what we are getting. With me here in the studio, he is a legal practitioner, of course, a member of a very, very strong political party, PDP. Join me to welcome Barrister Obegie. Barrister, welcome. It's been a while. It's been a while. I like your all white outfit.
Yeah, thank you very much. Sometimes it's good to also recline while you watch activities, what it is that are going on.
You're right about that. We're still expecting an APC chieftain, former member of Edo State House of Assembly in the person of Colenius. Maybe when he comes into the show, definitely he's going to talk about his own views and, of course, an opinion on this particular discussion. But like they say, the show definitely must go on. We still expect Colenius to come join us. All right, Barrister Obegie, 2 years and counting. What do you feel so far?
Well, I'll first of all, make these preliminary remarks that I'm here not really on behalf of the PDP.
Okay.
I'm here as a citizen of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm here as an indigene of Edo State. I'm here because I'm a critical stakeholder in the politics of Nigeria and in the scheme of things in Nigeria. I've told myself that there was a reason why God created me to be in Nigeria, that God created me to be from Edo State and in the Benin man. So that is the reason why when many people are jackpotting, many people are leaving the country, I've had several opportunities. I've said, no, we'll be here and ensure things are better. So it is the reason why I do what I do. It is the reason why I speak the way I speak. For me, what is important is the society that we dwell in, the people, the general well-being of the people, not really a political party.
Right.
It will interest many people to know that I was among those who were at the forefront of canvassing or advocating for a TINUBU presidency.
Yeah.
The reason are twofold, because before then, I was actually supporting Professor Yemi Osinbajo because I believe that he had the wherewithal to turn around the country. But Tinubu won the
primaries,
became the APC flag bearer, and that time I was a member of the APC, and I had no choice than to almost immediately support him, after perhaps looking at the other candidates, and also looking at Tinubu's antecedent as governor of Lagos State, not because he did wonders or miracles, but because he was putting in place proper structure for governance to the first century governance. He was putting in place proper structure for reforms. Now, if you've been in this country, you will know that many other reforms in other states, they copied from Lagos. And these were the things that Tinubu put in place in Lagos, for proper governance. I thought that he was going to bring that to the national level. And it was why I went, all over to ensure that he became president of Nigeria. Beyond even my media works for him, which were perhaps completely pro bono, I was also among the very few APC leaders that won in all the elections of that year, because you see that there was a poor performance by the APC, especially in Edo South, in that 2023 election. So I ensured I delivered. I went out of my way to ensure I delivered. But today, do I feel proud that I did what I did? I don't know, because look at the faces of Nigeria.
No, you should know.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I want to say I know because when I look at the faces of Nigerians, when I see the gloom on their faces, when I see the doom in their behavior and characterization, then it is easy for me to say, oh, whether this man has done well or he has not done well. There's no gainsaying about it. It's not about partisanship because hunger does not know any political party. Famine does not know any political party. In Nigeria, we never thought, if anybody told you in 2015, no, I'm not talking about 2013, anybody told you in 2015 that fuel pump price will be 1,200 naira in this country, that it became at some point last year under TINUBU, you say, please stop that. Because at the time fuel was 87 naira, it was going to be increased to 97 naira. Bola Tinubu was one of those who came out to say, how can Nigeria be a crude oil producing country and be selling fuel at 97 naira? They came out to protest, seriously. So under Buhari, fuel became, say, 160 something, and at some point entered 200 something. But Tinubu took it straight to 1,200. And now about 920. The other time I was going to buy fuel, I saw that 920. I was happy. Hey, 920. Later, it dawned on me, what am I even happy about? Something moved from 960 to 920, and I was happy. For a liter of fuel, come on. And not just fuel alone, because, of course, the price of fuel also affects all of that things. In this country, under PDP, for the 16 years of PDP, the exchange rate from dollar to naira was around 150 something. It was hovering around 150 something, 150 something. It was in the twilight of Jonathan's government that it went to around 170 something and probably 190 something. And the APC people, Tinubu, Buhari and the rest of them, they were bringing down the roof to say, how can? They were screaming blue murder. But they entered. And Buhari had about 10 exchange rates during the 8 years of his government. And when Tinubu came, he said he was going to consolidate. And he took it to, at some point, 2,000 something.
After
and now
subsidy.
Yes. And now it has come down to around 160, 1,600 something. Come on.
No, 900 and something per liter.
No, I'm not talking about fuel. I'm talking about
Naira
dollar to naira exchange.
Okay.
Then look at how expensive things have become. So sometimes when I complain, and I look at my friends, other people who have government jobs, and most government jobs in Nigeria, for graduates, I'm not even talking about non-graduates, most government jobs are between maybe 90-something thousand a month to 250,000. And those who are in 250,000 are even senior staff of those government agencies. And they are mostly federal government agencies. Now, as a private legal practitioner, I know what I earn during the pendency of a month. I know what comes to me. And I'm still complaining that things are so expensive, we cannot afford this, we cannot afford that. To pay bills are very difficult. There are about those who are earning that pittance. So my point in all this is that Nigerians have to sit up. Nigerians have to tell themselves the truth. That it is not just about us alone. Because the reason why you see Nigerians supporting these elements who are in government, who have put us, who have completely destroyed the fabrics of our country and our society, is because they are thinking that, oh, it will get to my turn. If this one is a government, this one will help me. If this one wins, it will make this one minister, or it will make this one governor. And this one comes to office, this one will make me this or that. Or this one will make this my friend to become this or that, then I can become this or that. That is their calculation. And that is why they defend those who have impoverished them in this way.
All right.
So I'm talking to Nigerians that it is not about them alone. It is about the society. Because if it is good for the society, it will be good for the individual members of the society.
Okay, Barrister Daniel Beg, I really appreciate you laying a foundation for this discussion. But looking at you as a person, you don't look hungry.
No, I'm not saying I'm hungry, but people saying that even me, who is a private legal practitioner for about 20 years now, or over 20 years, if I can still complain of some basic needs, not being able to meet basic needs, not being able to pay basic bills, they are about those who are in government, they are senior staff of government, and they are earning like 150 or 250. How about them? Because what I make on the average in a month, I don't want to reveal, but is a lot more than what the average government worker earns. I'm not talking about federal government workers. I'm not talking about state or local government. But how about those who never have jobs? There are people who graduated 5 years, 10 years, no job. How are they going to live? How are they going to make ends meet? And we are talking about fighting crime, fighting violent crime. How are we going to do that? That is just lip service. So that when I listen to them, they say, oh, they're going to fight crime, they're going to fight this, they're going to fight that. It's simply lip service. Because you are coming to government, you are even living far beyond your grade. I was talking to one of my friends who is a medical doctor. He's a Nigerian from Benin here. He's a medical doctor in Canada. And, he was showing me the house of the premier of the region where he lives in Canada. His own house, as a medical doctor, who has barely been in Canada for maybe 5 years or thereabout, is even bigger than that of the premier. And he said that the official office of the premier, the wife cannot even go there. That the wife of that man, that premier, has never even gone there. And the premier goes to work from home. He drives himself and without security apparatus. No siren, no nothing. He goes to work like me and you. And he comes back. His house is a small house. He said his wife is a pharmacist who works in the hospital where he is even working. And there's no air, nothing. But here, you recall that when Buhari was campaigning, and Buhari was saying that, why should Nigeria have a private jet? The Nigerian president have private jet. He complained. But he said when he comes in, he will sell all the jets in the presidential fleet. Or he will give them for commercial purpose, so that it will be making money for the country. But when he got in, he bought more private jets.
Okay.
Then when Tinubu got in, Tinubu went to buy a private yacht, presidential yacht, to do what for Christ's sake. And we are saying that we are a poor country. We are saying that we are borrowing. We are saying that we cannot afford the basic necessity for our citizens. Come on. At what point are things going to change?
Thank you so much, Barrister Daniel Beg. I want to go for a break. When we return, we'll start analyzing sector by sector. Let's just see if we can make more analysis on the 2 years in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Of course, this craze for 2027 general election is 2 years away. Do stay. We'll be right back. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is Politics Today. We're taking a look at the 2 years in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. With me here in the studio is a legal practitioner, legal press commentator, Barrister David, yes. Daniel Ubege. I like that Ubege.
Listen, you've known me for almost 10 years.
I know, because right now you are Ubege, now you're also Ubege. It's the same. Now, let's get down into various sector. You talked about the Naira-dollar exchange.
Yes.
And what the president said, he said to save the currency, to save the economy is to float the Naira. If you take a look at the Naira right now, it is more stable than before. What do you think they are doing their best to make sure that our currency has its own value in international climb?
Okay, at 1,600 Naira,
Well, compared to the first year in office.
$1.
Yes.
No, at the time, because Buhari was just, I mean, I don't really, when I talk about Buhari, really, it is even because of Buhari, sometimes you just say, okay, maybe Tinubu is not really his fault. Because Buhari's government of 8 years was completely non-existent. Because the man was unbelievably empty, he didn't know what he was doing, and maybe he wasn't even the one in power at the time. Because how can you have 10 different exchange rates? And people were manipulating the system for their own personal gain. And the man was just there doing nothing about it. So because Tinubu has now consolidated and there's one exchange rate, of course you expect that, you know, the Naira will be stable. But was that what they meant? When Naira moved from 150 something under Goodluck Jonathan to 170 something, 180 something, and later anchored at 190 something, what did Tinubu say? They were screaming blue murder. They were saying that Jonathan was incompetent. In fact, there was one word that they started using at that time. It was the first time I heard that word. They said he was clueless. That's the first time I heard the word under Jonathan. That Jonathan was clueless. There was nothing they didn't say about the man. In fact, it was even one of the reasons some of us entered politics, because we felt that they were doing this to him because he was from the minority. That the two ethnic giants in Nigeria, the Yoruba, the Hausa, Fulani, and Igbo, that they were actually fighting Jonathan because he was a minority. And that was why some of us, you know, joined politics at the time. We joined the PDP to say, no, this cannot happen. And of course, at the end, they were able to push him away. And they came in and they've taken the country far backwards. We have had more Nigerians who have run away out of this country in these years of the APC than at any time.
But you said Tinubu did what he did because some persons were enriching themselves because of the exchange rate.
That's what I'm saying.
You mentioned 10 different exchange rates.
Exactly,
so to harmonize it, it took just some heavy.
They are all APC because Tinubu said he was going to continue from where Buhari stopped. That's what he said. And it was also very instrumental to making Buhari president. It was the one that went to Kaduna when Buhari said he was no more going to do again. He said, look, I will make you president. Because he wanted to use the back of Buhari to become president himself. Because he knew that without Buhari, they would not be able to win. And if his party that he formed was able to win and Buhari was there, of course, Buhari will support him to become president, which didn't happen, but he was able to also muzzle the system to become president. Then after being president for 2 years, even Tinubu himself, if he comes today, will he be proud of his government for 2 years? No. And that brings me, we have a National Assembly. We have 2 houses of National Assembly. And we've not heard them debate the economic situation of the country, debate the political situation of the country. Today, Tinubu is much more preoccupied with coming back for a second term than governance itself.
All right.
So we've had much more politics and less of governance in this tenure of Bola Tinubu.
Why would you say we have more politics and less of governance when the price of fuel, well, compared to when it just entered office or removed subsidy, and right now there's an appreciation? We have a Dangote refinery functioning. We have also refineries in Nigeria functioning for the very first time in a long time. Nigeria right now is now lesser than South Africa in terms of fuel importation. It's not a plus to this administration.
But we still sell fuel at 920 per litre. And when the APC came in, fuel was 97 naira.
Because of subsidy.
Fuel, and the same Tinubu was against subsidy. He said subsidy was a scam, that there was no subsidy at all. That's what he said.
But
at
now,
that time, when Jonathan was going to remove subsidy, I remember in 2012, January 2012, Jonathan removed subsidy. Tinubu led a massive protest in Lagos.
Many will have the view that he was walking out of ignorance.
That he could not. Has he apologized for that?
No, hold on now, because many might have said he walked out of ignorance there, but now he's in the city, has seen it, that people are really enriching themselves because of that subsidy. He removed it. Don't you think things are beginning to normalize?
The point I'm making is that before he came in, he did not say he was going to remove subsidy. But as soon as he was sworn in, the first word he said was, subsidy is gone. that showed an arrogant man. A man who was not in tune with his people. A man who was not in tune with Nigerians and what Nigerians wanted.
Okay, hold on.
And there was shock in the system, and it affected the people. But it didn't affect them because they were still living large on our common patrimony.
All right.
They were still living large, but the people had a jot. Now, since that time, it took Godwin Obaseki to increase salary from first 30 naira to 40 naira and later to, I think, 17 naira.
All right. Now that you've
Before
mentioned...
the government could even agree
okay, hold on.
to pay 70.
Now that you've mentioned Godwin Obaseki, former governor of Edo State, do you know, sir, that it is because of this subsidy removal, according to reports, that was the reason why the subventions of states were like tripled? Do you have that record?
I don't, it's possible, I don't have the record, but assuming that is even correct, how did that really affect the Nigerian people?
Because you talked about increments from 30,000 to 70,000. Is that not because of the removal of subsidy, thereby increasing the subventions of state governors? That these governors have the power to do what they did in terms of increments.
Okay, how many states did that same increment? How many states in Nigeria? They were all saying that they could not pay even 60,000. That's what they were saying. They could not pay 60,000. That they would marginally pay 40. It was Obaseki that first of all increased from 30 to 40,000, and he also increased from 40 to 70,000. And he said he could even pay 250. That the reason why he stopped at 70 was because of the other states. And they were fighting him, they were quarreling. Why will you increase? Why will you increase? Now, Nigeria is rich. Nigeria has resources. If we could use just 80% of our resources on the people. But, you know, our politicians use 80% on themselves and 20% for the people.
Now you're generalizing.
Even the remaining 20%, they still take from it again. Now, okay, look at, now for instance, we have 109 members of the Senate. We have 260 members of the House of Representatives. Then we have the various state House of Assemblies. All these people are given official cars. Some 1, some 2, or some 3. So when you have that kind of leakage, when you have that kind of expenditure on few people who are not even up to 5,000, then the remaining 200 and something million of us, that's the reason we are not able to get from the resources of this country.
All right. Now let's take a look at the price of a staple food item, because taking a look at 2 years in office when it came into power and right now. Yes, due to a particular statement, which you are very correct, subsidy is gone, things are going topsy-turvy, incrementing prices. But right, people are saying that things are beginning to normalize in the sense that in this first year, so to speak, a bag of rice was as much as how much then? 150?
No, it wasn't.
180,
it
130?
was moving from 80,000
to
100 and to 120.
I remember 150 clearly.
I didn't see
but
150.
right now, sir, do you know that the bag of rice right now is between 80,000, 100,000? Is that not a reduction? No, because I like us to take analysis, statistically speaking. Okay. We're comparing when they entered and right now.
Yes.
Bag of rice right now, what is the price? Is it not reducing? I'm asking the questions right now. Because if you take a look at... Hold on. Because I'm going through analysis.
Yes.
I'm bringing out what they said analytically. You have the right to react to it. Would you say that Nigeria as a nation, various components of Nigeria vis-a-vis the states, things are beginning to normalize, though at a slow pace?
Yeah, well, if you say normalize, because there's no further inflation for some time now, maybe for the last maybe 1 year or thereabout.
A couple of months now.
Last few months, the last 1 year, there's no further inflation. But we have to understand that when the APC got into government in 2015, a bag of rice was 7,500 naira. Many Nigerians, it will look like, oh, boom, in their ear. See what?
You're right about that. You're right about that.
The bag of rice was 7,500 naira.
Yes.
The maximum was 8,000 naira. And, you know, we were having Nigerian rice all over the country. and rice flooded the whole place, and rice was cheap. The prices of food items crashed down. Even tomatoes crashed. Groundnut oil crashed. Everything. But APC took it from that 7,500 to 40-something thousand. Under Buhari, the last 1 year of Buhari, because apparently Buhari was working against the TINUBU presidency, you saw how the economy also crashed. In the last 1 year of Buhari, during the campaign for the 2023 presidential election, how Buhari hoarded Nigerian naira. People could not see naira.
That is an allegation.
No, it was open now. They said it.
Because some are alleged that Emefiele was the one behind the hoarding.
They not say we should be doing, what do you call it, online, whatever, transfer, banking, things like that. That that they were going to do cashless economy. Yes, that's what they said. All of these things.
Okay.
Just because the policy changed because of one man, and of course, bag of rice are moved from 40-something naira to 40-something naira to 80-something thousand. The Tinubu took it to 100, 120. So it's now hovering around 100,000.
But
so
right
no
now, how much?
The lives of Nigerians are not significantly better.
Okay. Now let's take a look at infrastructure, about road construction. You and I, we are both aware about the states of roads, even in some states.
So bad.
So bad. And right now, what are the conditions? Well, just hold on. We'll return from this break. We'll be taking a look at some of this particular sector without sentiment. We want to go on the break. We'll return and we'll continue this discussion. Don't go away. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is Politics Today. We're taking a look at the 2 years in office of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and of course the craze for 2027 election that is just 2 years away, like what Daniel Salbege opined, Esquire. He said it's like politicians are more interested in 2027 than governing the people. We'll take a look at the facts. We're going through the papers, we're going through the files, going through statistics to see if this man has done well in some areas. Let's go to infrastructure. Then when President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came into the scene, you could tell that somehow, somewhere, infrastructurally speaking, we are not there. But what do you feel about the state of our roads even today?
Nothing has changed. For instance, let's look at the federal roads in Edo State, for instance. It was the way they were under Buhari. Buhari completely neglected federal road.
You mean no work has been done now in the federal roads?
Hold on. Buhari completely neglected federal road. At least the ones around Edo State. To the point that there was a time I was coming back from Abuja a few years ago, and I swore that I will never use the road from Abuja anymore because it's completely dead trap. Okene, Auchi, Ekpoma Road, completely poor. Even the Benin Agbo Road, by the houses of Okwahe, Ihun Okwahe, and the rest of them, completely, I saw.
Some would say
Benin Sapler Road.
That was in the past.
Hold on. I'm still talking about the APC government that Tinubu succeeded. Now, when Tinubu came, they said they've awarded Benin Sapler Road. And it will be done within 6 months during the governorship election last year. Till now, has it been done? No. But they've done some work in some places. But is that what we want? Are those the roads that we expect in the 21st century? They did some concrete work in some places around that Sapler Road that has made it marginally passable now. But is that what we want at this stage? No. So we should not applaud mediocrity. That's pure mediocrity. That's what we want. We're not going to be celebrating them for doing far less than what they ought to be doing.
But during the construction right now is ongoing, these roads you've mentioned.
Because even the places they constructed are those the kind of roads that we want. They made concrete slab in some places on that Benin Sapler Road. And they said 6 months everything will be done, but they are still doing it after 1 year.
Okay, so but they are still, that means they are working.
Yeah, there are some works there,
Okay.
but it's not even, it's not even serious work going on. There are times you will see them working in the place. Most times you will see them, nobody is there at all. And they said they were awarded the contract, they paid the contractors and everything. So it's sad because this is not how government should be. And before now, I think I was going to say that we have a National Assembly, we have a House of Representatives and a Senate that ought to be watchdog on the executive. What are they doing? Every day they are endorsing Tinubu for second term. And you now ask them on what basis? Senator Kalu, the other time, dressed in a garb that was talking about Tinubu 2027 into the hallowed chambers of the Senate. On what basis? The people that sent you there, is that what they told you to go and do? To go and endorse Tinubu for second term? What has he done in the first 2 years?
Barrister,
that will make you to say, oh, this man should go back for 2027.
are you
If you are
saying
not,
that,
people should pity
okay, hold on.
Nigerians.
Are you saying that he has done nothing practically?
I cannot say that he has done nothing. There's no government that will come and do nothing. Of course, they will pay salary, but it's not their money, it's our money. They will pay salary, they will do one or two things. You know, but what they are doing? Is it even up to 20% of what they ought to have been doing? No.
Okay.
So if I'm going to score Tinubu, for instance, for his first 2 years,
Yes.
I doubt if I will score him 20%.
Why
Maybe
would you-
15% or 10%.
Why would you score him that low?
For even showing up at all. For even coming and saying, okay, I'm president of Nigeria. For paying salaries. At least not owing salaries. Maybe 10% or 15%. I can score him 20%. Okay, now, let's look at the rule of law. How has he fared when there is disobedience to court orders? Even in Edo State here, I heard yesterday, I didn't even know about it, that 2 chairmen were illegally removed by the government of Modi Okpewolo, got judgments at the High Court, and those judgments have not been appealed. And yet, they are not able to go back to their offices.
Okay, fine. Now, let's wind back the hand of time. During the time of Governor Godwin Obaseki, was there no violation of the rule of law? Should we go into that right now?
But that's not I didn't come here to talk about Governor Obaseki.
Sure, because right now we have to...
Unless he's the one,
like
because
what
we are
I
talking
said,
about Tinubu and the APC government.
Of course, you're right. But I believe it or not, you're a member of
But
the
you know me,
PDP.
that I will say the way it is.
True.
I
Nobody's
have been
doubting that.
in the last, I'm sure in the last 16 years,
Yes.
I've probably been one of the most consistent critics of government
Sure.
and the actions of
Sure.
government.
Remember what I said, without sentiments.
Yes.
Because you're talking about
Without
Nigeria right
sentiments.
now,
Yes.
irrespective of political parties.
Yes, that's what I
Now-
said when I even started.
Okay, fine. Now let
That
me
was
ask
my
you.
opening statement.
Sure. Now let's take a look at the action of Carlo that you criticized for good reasons. Have you not endorsed the candidate before, Barrister?
I'm a private citizen.
Oh, sure, why not? But is it a crime
Yes.
to endorse a candidate?
Is a representative of the people of a senatorial district in Abia State.
All right.
So are the people in tune with him? Did they say should go and endorse Tinubu for another term when he's just finishing he just spent it 2 years now? What have Abia people benefited from the government of Tinubu? These are the things that we should look at.
Okay.
What have the Southeast people benefited from the government of Tinubu?
Okay.
Even more, even extreme Tinubu more. You see the way the song goes about. You know, bestriding the political firmament of Nigeria like a colossus.
In what ways?
You see he's almost, people say that he's almost like the president of Nigeria. We see his videos.
People
So
said.
is that how president of other countries actually behave?
Okay. All right.
So we must look at this critically.
I wouldn't want us to bring his son into
No,
this
because what is
because if we
he's
dive,
using
if we dive into this, some might just
yes.
say it's all about politics. That the father is busy working on the economy while the son is busy working on the politics.
No,
So
was he
who can
elected
deduce
by the
that?
people of Nigeria? Was he elected by Nigerians
Good question.
to use the resources of Nigeria for himself?
Good
to
question.
travel around the world
Good
and
question.
travel around the country.
Good question. Well, when we return after this break, we're going to be opening the phone lines to get to hear from you. Yes, I might be a little hard today because I'm trying to balance every fact. We have just one person today, one party. We have to go all out. So don't say I'm against this party. No.
No,
Don't
no,
have
the
that
APC
notion.
person refused to come because there's nothing to talk about.
Anyway,
That's the reason.
Anyway, let's go for a break. When we return, we'll open up the phone lines to get to your own views and, of course, your opinion on this particular discussion. Don't go away. Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is Politics Today. We're extraordinary the 2 years and now face of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And of course, for you to be part of the show, the numbers just there on the screen: 080 77 77 0300. I repeat, 080 77 77 0300. We have Sonny Igedosa on the line. Good morning, Sonny.
Morning, Winfrey.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well.
Good morning, Sonny Igedosa, my friend. Sonny, how are you today, my friend?
Your voice is very well.
Thank you, my brother.
I don't know where to start from because I also try my best not to criticize you. I've always enjoyed you.
Thank you.
And surprisingly, I don't know when you will come back home. So that by then, you will not tell us another story.
I'm home now. I'm home now, Sonny.
President Tinubu may have been putting some policy together that look as though he's working. But there are many things that I gave somewhere. If as a father, my children, all of them are driving, the house is beautiful. We have a flashy this, flashy that. And at the end of the day, the children do not have food to eat. Can actually say that I'm a father.
Exactly.
That's why you look at the policy of President Tinubu. I think that they need to go back and review them. Because he has made promise. But it was the case talking about former President Buhari's administration. He did promise every year 10,000 megawatts. He man left office without bringing that to pass. If you ever want to look at the former administration of President he made a promise. And the promises have to do with getting seaport. There's a whole lot of promises I made, including a Denmark airport. It didn't come to pass. So I think that President Tinubu is in a better position who has criticized government from AD to AC to ACA, not to APC. He criticized Jonathan and talked about he was not going to accept the increment of fuel from 145 from 85 naira to 145. Now that he has seen that it was not what he said, I also think that it was also right for President Tinubu to come back and apologize to Nigeria first of all. That he was ignorant of what happened there, that he went to the street. Now that he has come to see reality, apologize to Nigeria for pushing everybody to the street, and apologize to former President Jonathan for saying what he said. Having said that, sir, you need to go back and look at some of his review. In the area of insecurity, what have I done? Just like Dr. Pastor said, salary is going on, I agree. But if you look at the area of the economy is not stable. The population power is not there. If you look at China lost their gates. We all die together or we all live together. At the end of the day, leadership by example. Then you cannot be driving car made in Japan and you are telling Nigeria to enjoy made in Nigeria. Exactly. So leadership must be by example. So I want to plead with him. These 2 years that is left for you right now, you need to look at the his vision. Look at the policy that he has brought. The economy is not in the hands of government. Because the political is not there. You are not controlling the issue of purchasing power and regulation. So since you are not doing that, that shows that you still left it in the hands of the area boys. So to avoid the problem that Nigerians are going through, you need to review. Look at what he has done. And go back and see if you have to reject his cabinet, setting them or bring them back and tell we need to change so that the end of the day Nigeria will be better. The issue of power right now is on a
Thank you so much, Sonny Gedus. I mentioned pond, the security challenge we are facing. I mean, I'm just by crying bitterly about these two sectors. Well, let's take this one before you react to these two sectors. Let's take this call. Hello. Yeah, good morning. Welcome to Politics Today. What's your name and where are you calling from?
With this comrade, Wilfred calling from Obasapoba.
All right, Comrade Wilfred, go ahead.
Yeah, my brother, I want to greet the barrister in the studio. Barrister even try for scoring Mr. President 15% to me. Let me give him 7.
Why would you give him 7?
7%, my brother, because to me we are nowhere. What is, I was in Lagos there during Jonathan, when he carried all of us to the street protesting about he said fuel subsidy discount. There's nothing like fuel subsidy. They're coming to office the first day in office, the first minute, you say fuel subsidy is gone. And I told my friend, my brother, look this man, no. They carry us go that at night, they tell us another different version of the story. My brother, it's only God. Nigeria, we are just living by God's grace. That's why they call us the most happiest nation. Even when we are passing through hardship, we are still smiling. We just pray that God should help us and take us to the permanent side. And we are just in 2025, they are talking of 2027. That means the next 2 years now, they will not do anything. They are just focusing on the next election. Well, God help your children and let us move forward. Thank you and God bless them.
Wow, interesting, quite interesting. Thank you so much for your opinion. 080-7700-300. That is the number to call. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good morning, welcome to Politics Today. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Comrade Abel. I'm calling from Benin.
Go ahead, comrade.
We just have to say the truth. You know, enough is enough. The Nigerians, we are seeing things that is happening. You know, the real voters, they are too. You know, so they are started campaigning for 2027, and which we don't know what's going to happen before that time. So just see what the last caller just said now. So the truth of the matter is that these politicians, they are taking the commoners for granted.
Yes.
So time will come that they will decide, you know, the people that will want to rule us 2027. Thank you very much.
All right, one more call. I'll come to Barrister Daniels. We're geared for the conclusion of this matter. We're talking about security and, of course, power. That seems to be the bane right now of Nigerians. Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Wilson.
Yeah, good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm beautiful. This is Prince Light for medical.
All right, Prince Light, go ahead.
Yeah, greetings to the barrister.
Thank you, my
I
brother.
want to say that Mr. President has done enough. You know, he has tried for us. If you compare how many times he has traveled to when Buhari traveled, it's just that he has a competition. Actually, it's a competition of who travel more, who steal more, who borrow more. So the guy, this morning I woke up, checked my phone, I saw a lot of 450 naira. When I checked what happened, they said they beat me for SMS alert. 450 naira for it. It had never happened in my life before. I was having 17,000 naira in my account. Hoping to get 2,000 naira more so I can go and get something of 20,000. Now they sell out the money. It's all thanks to Tinubu because it's the law in the banking sector. So he has done a lot. In fact, I don't know now he and Buhari, how many people are signed in this regime. I don't know. So he's really doing much. It's competition. At the end of the day, we keep that scorecard. Who travel more, who steal more, who borrow more, and who kill more. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That's the last call. We're to conclude this discussion. Barrister Daniel begin.
You know,
yes.
I criticized Buhari throughout his 8 years.
Yes, you did.
I warned Nigerians that this man does not have what it takes to be president. He's nepotic. He's provincial. You know, but to think that Tinubu, who I believe was exposed and was 21st century compliant, has not become different from Buhari in terms of being nepotic and provincial.
What would you say is being nepotic and provincial?
Now, look at his appointments, for instance. I must say this before I leave. His appointment has been so slanted towards his Yoruba tribe. I mean, we all know this.
So you mean how Igbo don't have large chunk of the government?
Somebody wrote on Facebook one time that Tinubu called for a meeting on economic matters to shore up Nigeria economy, and he invited the Minister of Finance, who is Yoruba, he invited the Minister for Blue Economy, who is Yoruba. His chief of staff apparently was also there, who is Yoruba. And he now said, I cannot talk about economy without bringing in security people who will enforce, who will fight corruption. So let me invite AFCC chairman, who is Yoruba. Let me invite DSS DG, who is Yoruba.
That might just be a joke on the social media.
No, but it's true, but it's there. But these are the appointments. And the man does not feel ashamed about it. Nigeria is a multi-ethnic and multi-religious.
Are you not saying that in his cabinet you don't have any other tribe in his cabinet?
No,
is that what you're saying
that
right
even
now?
in key positions, customs, he invited customs, who is Yoruba. Immigration, who is Yoruba. So you see, all the key positions, all the key appointments, Buhari was like that. But Tinubu took it to another level. So if I'm going to even talk about certain solidarity, because now that in Northwest, most of the Fulanis, they are against Tinubu, they said they will not support him again. So if I'm even talking about certain solidarity, to say, no, we no go agree, a certain must complete his tenure. Has Tinubu treated the rest of us as part of his constituency?
All right.
That should also look out for?
Thank you.
Now,
thank
for
you,
instance,
thank you.
in Edo South,
Our time is off.
I'm from Edo South, for instance. I think
Our
we have
time
1
is
minute.
off.
But I'm from Edo South, for instance. Tinubu has not made any single appointment from Edo South.
All right, thank
he has
you.
not appointed any single Benin man.
Thank you. Well,
So what are we
if you
talking
feel,
about?
just hold on, if you feel that what he's saying is not correct, a member of the APC, you are hard-hand believer, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, not to worry. You can come to ITV to share your views and opinions. So sad that other guests,
They didn't come. There's
an
nothing to talk about.
member, former House Assembly member, the president of Colonials, yes, couldn't make it to the studio. You have a right to fair hearing. Can come and tell us your own part of this particular discussion. Barrister Daniel Osa Ugbege, really appreciate the wonderful analysis.
Thanks
it's been a
for
while.
having me. Yes.
But you're looking good. It's like you've added.
Thank you very much. No, I don't want to add. I want to trim down.
All right.
I don't want to add.
Well, we'll do it again next week, Saturday, with Sonu Duke Okoso that will be in charge. Next week, Saturday, he just couldn't make it to the studio due to some circumstances behind these beyond rather his control. Okay, next week he will be here. All right, have a wonderful Saturday ahead. Bye for now.